Hi, and welcome to another edition of Jack Talk. I'm Stanton Cagle, and today we'll discuss SFA's marching band performing in London, England, the Boy Scouts potentially lifting their gay ban, and if today's technology is becoming a hindrance. Right now on the panel we have Marcus Reynolds and Dwight. We are going to be talking a little bit about why the marching band, the Lumberjack Marching Band, was in London, England, a little about what they did there. So Dwight, what exactly did y'all do in London?
Well, we were there to perform in the London New Year's Day Parade. We also got to perform in a concert hall as well. It was a great experience.
What concert hall was it exactly? Do you
Man.
remember? Or like what was it like a big one?
Oh,
or
it was pretty big. It was a nice concert hall. The name slips my mind right now, but
what exactly was the performance for? I forget. Was it like a New Year's Eve or okay? So
Yeah,
it's
New Year's-
kind of it's like
on
the
New Year's
Times
Day.
Square thing for London.
yes, exactly.
Okay, so like, did you guys did you have to sign up actually individually, or did they just select random members of the band to go out and perform in London?
Yeah, you had to sign up, and you had to pay a certain amount of money to be able to go, and
Okay.
alumni were also able to come back as well.
Okay, you guys practice a lot pretty much for that?
Yeah,
to
we
get out
had
there?
practice quite often there. So.
Oh, so you said previous Lumberjack alumni were coming in just to play in London?
Yes,
about
exactly.
how many people came with you?
I would say a little bit over 100 or so.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
so it's pretty good size.
What's the usual size for the marching band?
We're around a little less than 300. We
Okay.
kind of buffer around there.
Okay. So I guess we all really want to know, what kind of extracurricular activities did y'all do in London? Were you guys going around kind of sampling the fairs? I mean, how long were you there besides the actual performance?
Oh, we were there for about a week or so.
Oh, okay. So yeah, plenty of time to...
Plenty of time, yeah. We got to sightsee like the London Eye, Big Ben, and all that other things. So.
And that performance, that performance that was captured, was that the only performance that you guys did out there during the parade, or did you perform at a?
Yeah, we performed just mainly at the parade. We stopped a couple of spots along the way and performed for the people in the grandstands and whatnot. So.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about the culture out there. How much really did it differ from like here at home?
It's quite a bit different, really. Like people driving on a different side of the road and whatnot. That was kind of hard to get used to, having to look a different way to cross the street and stuff.
So do they have like the steering wheels on the right hand side
Yeah.
and things like that as
yeah,
well?
things like that.
What about like the food and things like that? Was the food different, or was it like
The
food
food
here?
was different. I mean, it kind of tasted different a little bit. So
Tasted different?
It did.
What was your favorite dish that you had out there? I mean, did you guys go to McDonald's, eat cheeseburgers and stuff like that? Did you go get fish and chips?
I actually did try a London McDonald's. I mean,
Oh, really?
It had the same stuff, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I had to have the fish and chips.
Right.
That's what you're known for out there.
Yeah.
So.
How long were y'all there? You said a week?
Yeah, right around a week or so.
Okay. I mean, like I said, what was your overall favorite? I mean, obviously performing in for the New Year's thing, but besides that, like, what was your favorite memory that y'all had there? Did you go out to any like
Favorite memory? The tunnel system, or the tube, as they say. That was pretty interesting to
what's
maneuver
that
around.
for,
in
like
that.
the cars and stuff? Or
Yeah,
is
like
it
the underground tunnel, like
Okay.
the subway station down here.
Right.
kind
Yeah,
of
and
thing.
subways. I mean, here in Texas, we're not really used to that.
Yeah. I
Um,
know.
What were like any specific groups? Did you come in contact with, like, I mean, were there other schools performing and things like that, or
Yeah.
did you make some friends? Like,
I wouldn't say I made friends or anything, but
Yeah.
yeah, there were a lot of people there.
okay,
But got to meet a lot of different new people, and it was great. Great
Okay.
experience.
So like your overall experience in London, it was pretty good. Can you like, I guess, explain really like how you felt during the performance when you were in London?
Oh yeah, like before it all even started, it was freezing out there. So
God.
cold, like that mixed with nerves. There were about 250,000 people there ready to watch us on the
Jeez.
parade route and stuff. So I mean, it was pretty nerve-wracking, but it was a great experience.
yeah. I mean, I know that myself. Whenever I heard like SFA's marching band's going to be performing in London, like I said, were there any other? Was it just SFA? Were there English universities? Were there American universities
There
performing?
were a couple of other universities, all throughout America, like like Florida, I think was there.
Okay.
Just high school marching bands, whatnot.
Okay.
So.
So did you come into contact with any famous people out there? Did you meet the Queen or Clive Owen or anything like that?
I met the mayor of
The
London.
mayor of London. That's pretty impressive.
And this guy said he was the grandson of Winston Churchill. I don't know if that's true or not.
Was it just like a crazy guy on the street, or was
Oh, no,
he,
it was
he
at like a
dressed
little-
up in a blazer and stuff?
Yeah, it was at the award ceremony type
Okay.
thing. So
Now,
it could have been him.
I was looking at some of the pictures online, and I saw like pictures that you guys took like just around the London streets, and I saw a picture in a phone booth, and I've always wondered like, are there really lots of like telephone booths in London?
Yes,
around?
like around every corner there's a telephone booth.
And
so-
people actually like use them. Did you see a lot of people like in the telephone
I
booth?
saw a couple, yeah.
Okay.
They don't have cell phones in England.
No cell phones.
Where did y'all stay? Was it at a hotel?
Mm-hmm.
You're staying in the same hotel for 7 weeks? I mean 7
weeks.
days.
Yeah, 7 days. Yeah, it was a Hilton hotel, I believe. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Very nice.
So, I mean, just tell us a little bit about the sightseeing. What exactly? I mean, you couldn't have just been performing the whole time, or were
Oh,
you?
no, yeah, not at all.
What day? I mean, after the performance, did y'all go do anything special, like as a group? Can you
Yeah, like
explain
as a
little bit?
group, we loaded up on some double-decker buses type
Right.
things, and we got to drive around all through London and got to see all the cool sights to see.
Okay. Do y'all have any expectations for anything like this as far as like doing any more big special events like this, or are you just, as far as the marching band goes, are you guys just gonna do the football games, or do you have any other plans as far as that you know of?
Well, I know that we are looking into more things, like more things to do, whether it be in America or abroad or something.
Because great
Um,
experience.
But yeah, I mean, football is our main focus type thing,
Mm-hmm.
but we do want to expand and do more things and get our name out there.
Okay. Yeah. As far as the marching band goes, I mean, can you tell us a little bit about like the day in the life for a regular marching? What do you play actually?
Oh, I
Forgot
play
to-
trombone.
Trombone,
I'm
okay.
also the drum major as well.
All right. So take us through a day in the life of a marching band
Well, yes.
trombone player.
Well, marching band. We get there. I mean, we go from 4:30 to 5:10 or so every day,
In the morning?
or in the evening.
Ah, I was like, goodness.
Too early. But yeah, it's just a lot of
Lot of
learning
practice.
drill. Cool shows and whatnot. So.
Mm-hmm.
You guys do like a lot of competitions, or just like 1 or 2 competitions a year? Like how many competitions, or just
We
the
aren't
shows
really a
you guys go out?
competing type thing, but
Okay.
it's more like satisfying the crowd.
Okay.
Getting them up on their feet.
Is the marching band a scholarship program? I know there's certain people that are on scholarship and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. Are you specifically?
Yeah, I'm on a small scholarship as well.
Did you do it in high school?
Marching band?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What's besides? I mean, obviously this would probably be your favorite experience with the marching band.
Oh,
Besides
yes.
that, what else is your favorite experience?
I love going to Reliance Stadium.
Oh, of
That's
course.
great. Like being able to play where the big guys play and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a cool experience, and playing against Sam Houston, it's always a fun game to go to.
All right.
Well, Dwight, we'd like to thank you for coming out here and talking to us today about the marching band and your experience in London. If we could have you back another time, that would be great. But that's all the time that we have today for this segment. Stay tuned, because when we return, we'll find out what the biggest controversial issue with the Boy Scouts is.
Welcome back to Jack Talk. I am Alexis Paul, and our topic for this segment has been in the national headlines for a few weeks now. The Boy Scouts of America lifting the gay ban for all Scout leaders and members. So joining me on the panel is our guest, Mr. Trevor Metcalf, and our lovely Mr. Stan Cagle.
Thank you, Alexis.
All right, so let's get into it, guys. So, Trevor, tell us about you, and then we're going to go into our topic.
Well, a little bit about me. I am an Eagle Scout, which is the highest rank that someone can achieve in the Boy Scouts in the boy ranks. And I'm also a member of the Order of the Arrow, which is the National Honor Society for Boy Scouts in the United States. I've been scouting all since Cub Scouts, started off in the 1st grade and went all the way through the ranks, and now I'm an active member, an active adult leader in my troop back home in Plano.
That is awesome. That's
impressive.
Yes, it really is. I only know Girl Scouts. So do you know if the ranks kind of go the same for them?
A little bit. I don't really know much about the Girl Scouts. I know that they do have ranks, but I do know that the Girl Scouts have a similar system to us.
Okay.
So, Trevor, what exactly does the Boy Scouts mean to you?
Well, the Boy Scouts means to me is all Scouts are taught to live by the Scout Oath and Law, and in the oath it says to always obey the Scout Law, keep yourself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. And a lot of people always highlight this as a big part of the Scouts, just because morally straight to me means, obey the laws of your country, obey the laws of, your schools, of anywhere that where you're attending, and physically strong, just keeping yourself healthy, things like that. And so Scouts to me, it was more of like a program for living life.
Okay.
It's more of an experience of like being out in the woods. Like a lot of people think scouting is just camping and stuff like that, but it's a lot more than that.
And you said you are active back home. So when you go home, do you take part in some of the rituals or whatever that goes on? I mean, do you go back and help out the younger Cub Scouts and things like that?
I do. Mainly what I deal with is mainly our younger Boy Scouts that we
Right.
have are mainly like our new recruits, things like that, just kind of getting them settled in, making sure that they understand, how things work to get them beginning on their path.
Is
to
it sort of like a
Eagle.
mentor process, like big
that's
bro, little
that's
bro
kind of role
type
that I
thing?
try to take because
Right.
I used to be the senior patrol leader for
Okay.
the troop that I'm in, which is the pretty much because it's a boy-led.
Right.
Boy Scouts is a boy-led organization, and so the senior patrol leader would be like the president
Oh,
of
okay.
the organization, and so he makes all of the calls. He is pretty much the highest-ranking boy in
Fantastic.
the organization.
So let's kind of get into our subject a little bit more. For those of you who don't know, the Boy Scouts, they were thinking about lifting their gay ban on the main leaders and their members. And some people have had issues with that. It's kind of like I compared it to the military's don't ask, don't tell policy. And some people having issues with that. I know I read in one article, this lady, she actually made a petition online for people to sign up. They were saying that she was like, my son, he just came out to his friends and his family and his, group, I guess, troop, I'm sorry, his troop, about him being gay. And they found out and they were like, oh no, you cannot become an Eagle Scouts leader. And so, it caused an uproar, and this is where we are now. And on NBCnews.com, they were saying that lawmakers are actually urging the Boy Scouts to actually keep the ban. And it's a lot of, not picking on any particular political group, but it's a lot of Republican lawmakers that are like, you know what, we need to keep the ban. So, Trevor, tell us, how do you feel about that? Like, what are your feelings on any of this situation?
My feelings mainly about the ban is, as a member of the Boy Scouts of America, I will back any decision that the organization decides to choose, whether or not I agree with it personally. Just as a member of the organization, you stand behind what your organization stands for. And on July 17th, actually, there was a 11-man panel that they did a 2-year review of the gay ban. And on July 17th of 2012, they came to the decision, a unanimous decision, to keep the ban so far until it becomes in further review. And I back the decision. As I said, I'm a member, so I'm going to back what they decide. I believe that, Boy Scouts, they do have a don't ask, don't tell policy. They have said, the actual policy states that while the BSA does not proactively inquire about the sexual orientation of employees, volunteers, or members, we do not grant membership to individuals who are open homosexuals or who engage in behavior that would become a distraction to the mission of the BSA. Scouting believes same-sex attraction should be introduced and discussed outside of the organization with parents, religious leaders, or caregivers. And just because we believe that it's not the right setting to discuss, same-sex stuff like that, mainly because that's just not really what we want to teach.
Do you believe, not to be offensive or anything, but do you believe that some people have homophobia within the Boy Scouts?
I do believe that, but I do believe that most people, the traditions, the policies that were set when Scouting was founded in 1907 was that we don't allow gay people just due to the fact that it was founded on religious bases.
Okay.
And so the religious aspect of it is
The
one of the reasons why that
Yeah,
ban
and
is
I think that's
stayed.
why it's such a controversial topic, because the Boy Scouts, really, it's it's a very positive organization. It teaches you a lot of very, very positive things, and I think that's why it's so controversial, is because these people are being denied the right, not necessarily the right, because it is an organization that has their own rules, but they're being denied being able to learn these things. But again, it was founded on religious principles, and you can't bash on, just as you can't bash on someone for being homosexual, you can't bash on a religious organization for having their own
Beliefs.
beliefs and rules. And it is 2013. I think that things are kind of becoming more progressive, but you know, it's a double-edged sword, and
Right.
I really think that that's the whole thing here, and I think, you know, don't ask, don't tell, as far as my personal opinion, is probably the best option, because I think it is weird, or not weird, but just unfair, I guess, that just because you're homosexual, you know, I think that
Right.
you're right, it's very distracting. You shouldn't be, you know, you shouldn't just be going around not necessarily not telling people about it, but it's just it is a very double-edged sword. And Alexis, I mean, what do you personally think about it?
Personally, my thing is this: how do you know if someone is gay? The one young man, he came out to his community, and I assume he, you know, like, let me let them know, because he knows the honor and the code and everything. Let me let them know. So for one thing, for people that come out, I've seen this on television shows all around the globe, they have issues on coming out, and when they do, they want to be accepted, and then to know that your Boy Scout family, your troop, doesn't necessarily like accept you, I know that hurts. But also, I don't really think it's fair, you know, because, you know, I want to be in my troop. It doesn't mean I'm going to come on to you or my scout leader or anybody.
Right.
It just means that I have a personal lifestyle. Now, however, if you are gay and you are in that, then you need to respect that everybody else is not like that. You know, keep that in your lane. But other than that, I don't really think it should be an issue.
And now, I guess, like I said, and I know when we talked earlier about this, do they, like you said, it's founded on Christian beliefs, but you said they allow other religions in, correct?
Correct. There's actually a couple of troops in my hometown that are Jewish troops,
Right.
and so there are other religions, and only 60% of scouting are actual religious units, and
Based on churches
the
and
other
things like
40% are in schools and like recreation areas for like cities and stuff like
Right.
that. So there are.
And
other
I would
areas.
assume that once it gets to that point, it's like the same thing as don't ask, don't tell. I would assume it's the same thing as far as that, because, you know, if you're in, say, a certain scout leader where it's like Jewish and whatever, you don't really want to talk about that.
Right.
But guys, that's all the time we have today.
Yes, I'm
Thank you for
sorry.
gracing us with your presence, Trevor. It was a
Thank you
very
very
good
much for having
conversation.
me.
We had a very good talk.
And also, next coming up is technology helping us or hindering us. It's going to be deep, guys. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Jack Talk. I am Mariah Jones. Today we're discussing the topic of technology and the effects it has on our lives as both a whole good and bad. Here with us we have Ashley Lewis and Cassie Dickerson, the author of the article Technological Advances Become a Crutch for Society. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Ashley, how are you?
Hi, good.
Good. Okay. So, let's see. Have you ever had a day when your computer froze, or when you were in the middle of something really important, your mobile battery not last for more than 2 minutes, or you were lost and needed to call someone urgently, or even you left your phone at home and didn't know how you would make it throughout the day without it?
Yeah, I think we all have, honestly.
Anybody ever had one of those days?
Definitely
Just
have.
didn't know what to do?
Definitely.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna start off with going into what do you do when that happens? You just don't know? Stuck?
when you don't have your phone working or something.
Can you live without it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
but it's hard when there's like, if you don't have a house phone or anything. it
Yeah,
can
nobody
make it
pretty much has
difficult.
one anymore. Yeah. Well, when we first read your article, when you start reading it, you don't really think that it's about technology. So, what exactly about that can opener experience made you, think about technology?
Well, I was actually, making salsa, and I was having a difficult time because I couldn't use the can opener. It wasn't electric, and I was getting really frustrated, and I didn't know if I just wasn't using it
Right.
right or what was going on.
Is it
so,
me or is it
yeah,
you?
I did not know. I was just like having problems, and I was really frustrated because I have to make this because I was going to eat something with it. So as I was doing it, it took probably like 20 minutes extra that it would have if I would have had an electric can opener, and then that just made me realize, wow, I really depended on having
It's like-
an electric can opener that could
Yeah.
open it for
Can't
me.
have my
Yeah.
salsa
Yeah. That
without
makes
the
a lot
can
of sense.
opener.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so after that, it really just made me think, how our generation, we are really we depend on technology so much, and you know, with our phones doing everything from, you know, reminding us to go make a car payment, or, you know,
Alarm clock. I
alarm
don't wake up
clock.
without mine.
Exactly.
Very, very true.
So that just really opened my eyes and gave me inspiration to write the article.
Yeah, that makes
'cause
sense.
At first, I was worried. I was like,
Yeah, we didn't really know where it was
is
going.
it about salsa? I was like, I
We
don't
didn't
really
know
like
where it was
tomatoes.
going.
Yeah,
So.
and when I was writing it, I was a little confused. Like, I wrote the whole salsa part, and I was like, okay, now I need to transition it into technology, because that was my whole point. I was like, okay, how do I do this?
Yeah.
But I think
It was very
worked
visual,
all
though.
right.
I seen you struggling in my
Yes.
head. So, what types of technology did you have in mind when you were writing? Was it just, you know, can opener, or were you thinking above and beyond? You know,
The broader
use-
picture.
Well, I was thinking more about like cell phones and iPads and computers. I mean, I use computer daily because
Yeah, we all do.
you know, you use it for the internet and to write or homework, things like that. But cell phones and like iPods and things like that, you know, I think those can be a real issue because if they're not used in moderation, like that was my whole point. Like
Yeah.
if you're on your cell phone the whole time, like I know kids, like they'll freak out if they have their iPad and it's taken away from them and they can't play on their
Yeah.
iPad or their iPhone. But yeah, so iPhones, you know, people will be walking to class and they're just looking
this.
straight
Oh,
down at
yeah.
their phone. They're not paying
Just
attention.
Walking
Yeah.
into
They'll-
people.
They'll walk across the street and I'm like, you're going to get hit if you don't pay attention.
Look up.
And like with iPods, you know, people are plugged in all the time and they're just walking around. And that kind of reminds me, like in high school I read the Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451 book, and it talks a lot about technology and how it's just basically, that was another inspiration for my story because he talks about how people will have shells in their ears and they just won't hear anything. And
Yeah.
that's like earphones, you
Yeah.
know. We just have those, and we have TVs the size of walls, you know.
Very true.
And that's just,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Well, we are now more wired than ever. Although millions join social network sites to connect to their friends, they're getting more disconnected from life. As every 1 out of every 2 Americans suffer from depression. What is your take on that?
well, let's see.
You know, how do you think that
Yeah.
that ties into? I think
think
that it
it-
has a lot to do with
yeah, I
you know
agree.
that actual physical interaction.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really an expert on like depression or anything,
Yeah.
but I would, in my opinion, I would say that, you know, not having personal interaction can really hurt you because when you interact with people, you know, you have all these emotions going through, and you know, people can support you and lift you up, and you know, if you're in a bad mood or something, they can really just support you. And I think with technology, you lose some of that.
Yeah,
And you know,
for
you
sure.
can only put like so many smiley faces or whatever to say
So
how.
many LOLs.
Yeah, exactly.
It only does so
So.
much.
Well, it just pretty much now technology is taking over so much. As far as now, kids don't even play outside anymore. I have 2 little brothers, and they're like this in front of the TV all day with the game. So it's just like, you know, we know what the library is. We don't use it a lot maybe, but we know what it is. We know where it's located. I feel like when they're our age, they won't even know what the library is. Books are on iPads, things like that. Do you think it's hindering, you know, the generation below us because they are the future? They're going to
Yeah.
strictly depend on phones.
Yeah, I think that's kind of two-sided in my opinion because I know we are growing more digital, and so when they get to be our age, they're going to need to have those skills to use technology and stuff. But at the same time, if you lose touch with like your personal like human interaction, and you're not playing outside, you're not exploring, you're not just like discovering the world, then I think that's going to also hurt you because that helps you develop really skills that you're going to need in the
It's
future.
like they're not playing with other kids anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
go climb a
Like,
tree.
I know.
Go outside.
Like, I knew these people that they went to a meeting, and instead of a daycare for like 4th graders, all the kids had iPads. Like they weren't playing with each other, and I was like,
It's like
This is
that now.
daycare?
yeah, well, not. It was like a meeting, and
Okay,
instead of
okay.
like having like games for the kids to play like outside or something, they just
Yeah.
all had iPads, and nobody was talking.
That
and they
jump
just,
rope.
That kind of
no.
scares me, honestly.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I don't know. Yeah, that's yeah. Well, I know I feel like it's all about moderation and control, but I do think that we've gotten so used to instant gratification, And society has really shaped modern humans into a consumer of things which we can manipulate. And I have a quote saying, a high proportion of teenagers admitted to inserting information straight from the internet into schoolwork without even reading or changing it. So they're not actually even retaining the information. They're not really learning. As a college student, I can identify with not necessarily wanting to physically go to a library. You know, if I have it at the tip of my fingers with a laptop, you know, I can understand that. But how do you think that it affects education just like as a whole?
Well, like again, like the whole human interaction, you need that. And but like straight copying things, I mean that just is like an ethical issue as well. I mean, it's definitely abusing it, and you're not learning from it. You're not gaining anything from it.
So I say moderation.
Yeah, moderation.
You're just hurting yourself.
Like
you have to know when.
Exactly. In my article, I said, you know, technology should be an aid and not an addiction.
Very true.
So
very, very true. Very true.
It's really addicting. Do you feel like it helps as far as, you know, social networks help with family and stuff? You feel like it disconnects you from that or brings you to it?
Well, if you have like distant family, I think it could help you. But I mean, if you use it for the right reasons, I mean, that's with a lot of things. But I mean, there's so many people who have like hundreds of Facebook friends, but how many people of those friends do you actually
really
talk
know?
to or go hang out with?
Yeah.
Not just online. But with families, you know, I think if, you know, you're having a family night and your kids are just stuck on an iPad or a phone, then you're not gaining anything.
Okay, so that goes into the, you know, when was the last time you handwrote a letter? When was the last time you had a conversation on the phone? All of that stuff. When was the last time we ever did that?
Yeah, it's been a while. But with all that being said, I have a question for you. Do you use technology or does it use you? That's all we have for today for this episode on Jack Talk. I want to thank our guests, Dwight Watson, Trevor Metcalf, and Cassie Dickerson for joining us today. I'm Ashley Lewis. See you guys next time.